Hello Bloomington, I'm Mayor Tim Busse, and this is the Council Minute for the week of May 5th. At our meeting this week, the City Council had a good conversation about office buildings in Bloomington. More specifically, the discussion focused on what the city could or should do to facilitate converting offices into a different use, like for example, residential. Some quick background, and we'll start with a quiz. Any idea how many office buildings there are in Bloomington? If you guessed 107, you're a pretty good guesser. There are 107 office buildings, generally spread throughout the city, but concentrated on 494 and on Lyndale Avenue. You've probably heard that office vacancy rates are high in some areas, which is due to changing work patterns. People learned during the pandemic that working from home is a good option. And as a result, a lot of companies are economizing when it comes to office space. Here in Bloomington, our office vacancy rate is about 15.5%, lower than downtown Minneapolis, but higher than the rest of the Twin Cities and other suburbs. With the help of staff, the council talked our way through the pros and the cons of converting some of that office space into some other use. On the plus side, converting office into residential could provide more housing options, including options related to the co-living discussion we had last week. Conversions can breathe new life into tired or underutilized buildings and to the surrounding area. Reuse can help spur additional redevelopment in an area, and in many cases, reuse is a better option than a teardown. There's also a track record of successful office to residential conversions in many cities, and I've had at least one conversation with an office owner who would like to consider how they can convert right here in Bloomington. On the flip side, conversions come with some challenges. Older buildings may have deep floor plans, outdated systems, and design limitations that make residential use more difficult. Additionally, current city policies and codes may not always be ideal for these types of projects. And also, the sweet spot for office vacancy is somewhere between 5 and 10%. So at 15.5%, Bloomington is not that far away from being in a better position from a vacancy perspective. And as a couple of council members pointed out, it would be problematic if we encouraged office conversions and then ran into a shortage of office space a few years down the road. The bottom line, the council asked city staff to continue looking at this, to develop educational materials, and consider streamlining some policies to make conversions more doable. While not every building will be a fit, the city's prepared to help property owners and developers explore conversion opportunities as the market evolves. Keep an eye out for a public hearing on this later this year. This week is National Drinking Water Week, celebrated from May 4th to May 10th, 2025. For more than 40 years, the American Water Works Association has used Drinking Water Week as an opportunity to recognize the vital role water plays in our lives and to appreciate the importance of clean, reliable water in our community. We all know that high-quality drinking water is not only essential for public health, but also for overall community well-being and economic growth. Safe water supports businesses and institutions, strengthens our schools and healthcare systems, and enhances our quality of life. Great tasting water is also a point of pride here in Bloomington. According to our annual resident survey, drinking water is the highest rated public service the city provides. And late last year, the city of Bloomington was awarded Best in Glass in a tap water taste test hosted by the Minnesota section of the American Water Works Association. This is the third time Bloomington has been recognized for having the best tasting tap water in the state. Next month, Bloomington will represent Minnesota and will participate in the national competition in Denver. Hats off to our water utility staff for their outstanding work. And finally today, we learned this week that once again this year, Bloomington was recognized by Livability.com as one of the top 100 best places to live in the United States. This is the third straight year Bloomington has made this list, and this year we checked in at number 20, up one spot from last year, and once again the highest rated Minnesota city on the list. Livability.com highlighted Bloomington's abundant parks and outdoor spaces, strong education system, and thriving local economy as key reasons for the recognition. The city's diversity, commitment to sustainability, and proximity to the Minneapolis-St. Paul metro area were also noted as factors that make Bloomington a great place to call home. Now, we've all seen these types of rankings online for everything from most livable cities to scariest roller coasters in the world. And as a rule, take them for what they're worth. But livability.com specifically focuses on what makes small to medium-sized cities great places to live. For this ranking, they looked at cities with populations between 75,000 and 500,000. Livability considers that size to be the sweet spot in size for residents to get plugged in, find their people, and feel at home. The website also makes it clear that affordability is one of the biggest benefits of living in a smaller city. That's why they only consider cities with a median home value of $500,000 or less. They also analyze average rent and home prices relative to income in each city, as well as other factors that influence the cost of living. They really emphasize affordability, which is something we also emphasize here in Bloomington. This entire community has worked hard over the past several years to cultivate an enduring and remarkable community where people want to be. And it's gratifying to see Bloomington receive so much well-deserved recognition. Thank you for your efforts and your support of the work underway here. Let's keep working. That wraps up this week's Council Minute. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, stay safe, Bloomington.